What's going on, sexy people of the internet? It is Dave. Why are you laughing at me?
Do you ever see what's going on? That's a new intro.
Is it?
What's going on?
What's going on, sexy people? No, I've never said that before
No, you've never. I don't think you've ever said that ever.
in my life.
Even
no.
when you walk into like there's a noise in another room, I don't even think you walk in and say what's going on.
What's going on here? Eh? No, that's not something I would say. No.
You would never say that.
No.
It's so unusual. I don't know this. I'm already not feeling this review. What are we doing here?
We're all
The vibes
uncomfortable
all off.
already. Welcome
Feng
back.
shui's broken here.
Welcome back to another album review. For this review, Duncan and I have been checking out the new album.
Oh, I'm Duncan, by the way.
That's Duncan.
Cut them off.
Knoxville, Tennessee trio Generation of Vipers. The band's new album, Guilt Shrine, will be released digitally on August 23rd via Translation Loss Records. So, 10 years after Generation of Vipers dropped the critically acclaimed 2014 full-length Coffin Wisdom, the Knoxville trio return with album number 3. 10 years.
Well, we were reviewing in 2014.
I know. I
was just going to say, Dave, that you dropped the fucking ball on this one.
Yeah.
Blame Dave. Hashtag trend it.
Hashtag trend it. I love our
We've been
hashtag.
recording for a while. We've been recording for a while. I'm using hashtags and it says 2024. What are we doing here?
Hashtag.
And
Don't even make sense.
Lol. Right.
On the band's most riveting and powerful album to date, Generation of Vipers' demanding prowess triggers an adrenaline response. Tormented vocals bear the heart of a hidden galaxy of grief and reveal a desperate surrender to the weight of regret. But there's hope. Sinuous cadences unfurl like a snake shedding its skin to reveal the hidden power of the soul. Guilt Shrine brings addiction, grief, regret, friendship, and the power to become whole to the surface. This isn't a typical story of triumph, it's a diary of a person learning to live again. Tracks such as Lux Inversion and In the Wilderness explore feelings of isolation and the loss of identity born from uncontrollable self-doubt, while the song Elijah addresses generational trauma and abuse. These themes, coupled with the phenomenal nuanced drumming of Billy Graves, the crushing art-damaged riffs and spiteful vocal delivery of guitarist-vocalist Josh Holt, and the punishing, gritty, and at times Fugazi-esque counter-melodies of bassist Travis Kamier. Tomato, I don't know.
Tomato you. What would that
make for an extremely compelling and potent collection of songs. Sorry. Okay, Guilt Shrine was recorded and mixed by Kurt Ballou of God City Studio.
Of course it was, Dave.
Between March 2023 and November 2023. Additional engineering was completed by Zach Weeks. Oh, someone's phoning me. Apologies.
The band.
God
so that 2014 was when our first album came out. You did fuck all about it.
That's because I pronounced that guy's name wrong. And Travis with the surname I can't pronounce at Fahrenheit Studio. The album was then mastered by Brad Boatwright at Audio Siege.
We love you, Brad. We love you. You know this. We shouldn't need to keep saying it, but we will anyway. Until the check clears, that is. Until the check clears.
We fucking love you, Brad. Your sexy wee face.
For all you know, he's like taller than you, and you are tall.
It could be taller than me.
We've only ever spoken to him on camera, and he was a floating torso, so that doesn't mean anything.
The album features cover artwork by Grady Gordon, and Translation Loss Records will release the album on 2 exclusive vinyl variants on October 11th.
And Dave's wallet went, oh no, what one to get? Just get them both, Davey. I can't. Just get them both.
So yeah, to go back to your previous point, their previous 2 albums were released in 2012 and 2014, How the fuck did we not know about this band?
Right, so like
How?
once again for context, we started the first review site in 2012, and we were at our maximum power, our zenith, if you will, in 2014.
Yep.
That's when we were getting all the shagging. I mean, that's like knee deep in bush, Dave. I mean, like that's like that was a like primo prestige. Like everything was just coming up like us at that time, and these names, like your Kurt Balloos and stuff, were very much on our radar then. So I'm just going to put this down to gross negligence, because I will say this before we even get into a review of this. This sound is my sound.
Boom.
This is like the very definition of a Duncan sound. It's a Duncan vibe. So
This is how we do it, Duncan.
No. Jinx.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know how we missed this. But if there's a way to bring Big Davey back in, it's to drop in a couple of names like Kurt Ballou and Brad Boatwright, and I'm in.
Yep.
I'm here.
Dave's email
Call.
filter.
I've answered.
Dave's email filter for some reason prioritizes those, like so they appear at the top.
Urgent. Yeah, I mean, I love those guys. I love those guys. Those guys are just at a point in their careers where, like, I feel like
Quality's not even like a consideration now. You just know.
yeah, I know.
And I think when they work together as well, that's where they like, because they do occasionally do things apart.
Yeah.
They're not joined at the hip. But when they work together, it's like, oh, it's like two. It's like you know, it's like a scoop of chocolate ice cream with a scoop of strawberry right beside it, and you're like that. I mean, this has just got even better.
Yeah.
And I can keep the cherry. What?
Yeah, I think in Generation of Vipers are not only a great stylistic choice or match for
100%.
Kurt and Brad,
This is
but
pocket stuff.
I think the quality of their work also speaks for itself. So what do we think? Like, this is our first introduction to the band, but what did you make of this third album from Generation of Vipers?
Like my testicles after no nut November, Dave. This is fucking heavy. Holy shit. This is a big old heavy stubbly bitch. It does, like, I just get the feeling that when you take the vinyl out, it's just going to have stubble on it. Like, this is like a very manly sounding album. You know what I mean? Comes with 3 divorces and stubble.
Whiskey breath.
Like access to a pickup only at the weekends. And a dog called TJ that no one knows how old it is. It's just been there forever.
27 minutes.
Tucked in the sleeve, rolled up. I like everything about it, man. Yeah, like I like my voice dropped an octave listening to this. I just instantly want to put up some drywall. I don't know why. Shoot some pool. Chase some kids off my lawn.
Shoot some heroin. Yeah.
Manly death.
Like, whoa,
Nothing more manly than like fucking drug use to obliteration.
My God.
Yeah, no, I will be honest. I looked at the artwork.
Yeah.
When this come in, and I was like, we're going to leave this to last. I had a couple of streams to listen to.
Yeah.
We're going to get to in a second. I had a couple of streams to listen to, which I was not pleased about because I don't like streams. I had something else which was like inevitably colourful. The album artwork for the previous album we reviewed tonight is like big, bold and green. And this one was kind of devoid of colour, and it was kind of hand drawn. And as a result of this, I foolishly thought kind of post-rock album? Question mark, maybe? That's
right.
where I was coming in on this one. Could not have been more fucking wrong. When I played this, the first thing I thought was, Jesus Christ, that guitar tone is crunchy. It is like cornflakes without the milk. You know, or like snow without the grit. I don't know. I lost it, Dave. I should have stuck with the stuff that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah,
this is not a comfortable album. The groove is comfortable, but it's like deeply unpleasant, like in the best possible way. I'll tell you what Generation of Vipers have in spades that I kind of love about them, and it's pretty much on display from start to finish on this one. Is they have mastered the kind of almost the big bend in the riff. You know what I mean? like just like and the perfect length for the perfect groove, and it's almost like muscle memory for them because they use it that much. But it's always delightful when I hear it. I go, oh, I like just that. Oh. So they've got like just like fucking infinitely amazing sludgy groove riffs all the way through this album.
Yeah.
They have a fucking drummer who gets the groove. Love the drums on this. Love. And there's just a big old bit of personality on that bass. Like you pick out everything he's doing all the way fucking through this. And guess what? He ain't just following the guitars. He did that bass for a walk quite a bit. And then
put a leash on it, Duncan. Put a leash on it.
You need to put a leash on it, Dave. Don't put a leash on it. Where's it going to go? You know, just like missing posters. Have you seen this bass? Please call this number. The other thing it's got, right, is like the perfect vocal choice.
Yeah.
Well, this guy's voice, it kind of reminds me of really early Mastodon. And like Remission era Mastodon. And I fucking love it because it's designed for this style of music. It's like it's destined to be in this style of music. What you have on this album is a band that, how many years in between albums?
10 between this one and the last one.
Fucking like no ring rust here at all. It is about as confident, like to the point where I actually thought this might be a debut. I was just like, this band are just throwing fucking everything in here. Like there is no kind of like, it's album 3. I mean, like when do we get to do our hip hop inspired covers album? We're not doing it in album 3. No. It feels urgent. It feels prescient. It feels like viscerally like a rabid dog trying to go for your throat. Like all the way through this one. And it's got fucking character busting out everywhere on this. And just when I thought I was like getting my hooks into it, like the first 2 songs are big old sludgy groovy weighty bangers. Elijah kicks in, which is track 3, which has this really somber dark streak to it that it goes a bit longer as well, which kind of helps. It's about a minute longer than the previous tracks, but it's merited in the way the song's constructed and the delivery of it. The vocal seems wounded on it. It's like it's been dredged up from a place that it probably should have been left, because it's just going to cause pain. And like on the first listen in particular, I was at the end of track 3 and I was fucking spent. I was like, yes, this is just everything I want. I'm not even halfway through this album. Let's see where we go. And Lux Inversion kicks in, and it's a really interesting change of character. For like, it's just fucking. It is like is the very definition of, you know what's better than riff you're listening to right now? This riff.
Oh my god.
And you know what's better than that one? This riff. And you know what's better than that? It just is a collection of the most tightly fitting, fucking awesome display of riffage. And then you come off that, you're like, there's no way you're going to top that. And then what I love about it is it doesn't mean anything, doesn't try and top it. It settles in very, very comfortably into a 2-minute instrumental on the brain, instrumental track, which is really quite eerie. And it just kind of settles in. And the band don't do what any other less accomplished band would do, is they don't kick in with the heaviest thing they've done. They actually start building up into the next track, which I kind of love. That's what you're supposed to do. And the track that follows on with it is a bit more spacey, and less like designed to be punishing until it gets punishing, which it fucking does. I love this one as well because you get a lot more of the bass character on it as well. Kind of, there's an effect, I don't know what it's not a flange, but he's using some sort of phaser or something on the bass. It's really fucking cool, and it drives that track through. As a result, when the guitar does kick in, like with the heavier sections, they sound 20 times heavier. Like 7 guitarists are playing on it. A distant amount of guitars are on this track. And then you get to what is the closing song, which is the title track, Guilt Shrine, which is a slow, lumbering, moody bitch. And I love it. The melody in it is unsettling as fuck. These clean sections where they're starting to play what would be the opening of a major chord, and then they just go like dark and kind of kind of goes a little, ooh, brother, ooh. If you're a kid, you'll get that. Dave clearly doesn't watch TikTok and does not get that at all. Where have you been? Literally all the kids, like, see if you go to your child and go, ooh, brother, ooh, she'll laugh. I'm telling you. You're not going to do that. Anyway, but it just has this kind of off, kind of killer thing. Even vocally, the dude sounds like he's like doing an early Duncan McLeish recording, in that he's in a cupboard somewhere and facing the wrong direction to a mic because some bastard has switched the light off. It's a great track. It's got a real proggy feel to it. Once again, it kind of reminds me a little bit of really early Mastodon, in the best possible way. And then it finishes, and you're just kind of sitting there wanting to spin it again. Hugely confident. Production is on fucking point. This is what, like, they are not drop fucking G tuning here, but this is heavy as fuck. Heavy as fuck. Because of the way it's been produced, the way it's been constructed together. It's the perfect length. It's like not one track longer and not one track shorter. It is the perfect length. Yeah, this album is fucking awesome. And I feel ashamed that when I was getting into my sludgy doomy phase, circa 2014, by the way, this band were just not on my radar at all, and I kind of feel like now is the time to do a bit of homework, go back and check that stuff out. I know you will have, because you do your due diligence that way. But yeah, this is fucking great. Absolutely love it, and why not? It's got Kurt Ballou and Brad Boatwright behind it, which those guys have a quality control that you just have to kind of admire. Yeah, this is absolutely awesome. This is once again, you can pick certain Sims as Duncan Sims. This is a Duncan Sim. Start to finish.
Nice. So yeah.
And you, Dave?
After my shame of not...
After the shame bell. Shame.
Ridiculous. Why? How have I never heard this band? I was like, right, okay, I need to jump back to this 2014 album, Coffin Wisdom, and check that shit out.
That's coffin as in where you're buried, and not like you coffin. And it's what I like don't cross the road before looking both ways. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. Remember,
Dead and buried. Dead and buried.
Dead and buried. Cool.
Yes. And I can see why, like, it's done well critically. However, 10 years has passed, and there are some clear differences between that album and this one. Coffin Wisdom was still very kind of weighty, quite earthy sounding, quite a kind of dissonant sounding album. And it, whilst it was, like, again, sludgy, it leaned into that kind of like angular kind of noise rock side of things, where the guitar work was, a little bit more experimental. It had touches of kind of dark melody in there as well, even some strings on the album. But for the most part, it was just pretty bleak sounding. Guilt Shrine, on the other hand, is just a fucking riff machine. Like, this album kicks off with one aim, and that is to have you fucking grooving like a son of a bitch. This is far more riff focused in comparison, in my opinion. Still has a bit of that kind of noisy, dissonant kind of feel at times. Bands like Unsane or Young Widows come to mind, but I like that they've given these tracks more of a kind of hook in the riffs. And that was something that was a little bit missing for me on Coffin Wisdom. It had some cool ideas, but maybe just didn't stick with you as much afterwards as you'd hope. Whereas on Guilt Shrine, every track has like a mammoth of a riff or a groove that just makes you want to smash it. And that main riff on Luxon version just fucking could be one of the best grooves I've heard all year. Absolute killer riff on that track. But every track does have something a little different. They're very playful with their kind of rhythmical ideas. They don't just stick to like a predictable 4/4 straight down the line groove. They sometimes add a bit more of a progressive tendency, which we hear on In the Wilderness, as well as some kind of hardcore traits and some of the tempos and chord progressions. We also get a touch of something that leans a bit more into post metal a little bit towards the end of the album, where it gets, that weight gets really oppressive on the album. So there's plenty of variety on the heavier side of their sound. But I also really like that the band have this ability to switch up the tone at any point, where we start to hear something a bit darker on the Elijah, Not the Elijah, that's a band. Just on Elijah. I've got the Elijah on the brain.
On the brain, you're like me with industrial.
And that track is obviously, as I said, it covers themes of trauma and abuse, and the chord choices just reflect that perfectly. They managed to capture just such an ominous kind of mood on that one that kind of clings to you afterwards. Even the way they add in a bit of space on the track, there's something quite eerie about those spacious moments. Especially with that kind of choice of vocal tone that just sounds, just wounded almost. I thought Elijah in particular was a real standout on this album. And it's not the only time they decide to veer into something, a little bit more expansive. Doesn't mean anything gives you that whole kind of 2 minutes of clean atmospheric leads, kind of percussive drum work, and a bass line that's just, kind of wandering around a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect kind of lead-in or prologue to A Quiet Life, which, again, keeps that bass at the forefront, but with, again, that kind of Mastodon type kind of heaviness to it. I found this one much more rewarding than Coffin Wisdom. I feel there's much more range on this that kept me coming back to it. I also think the guitar work here is a much better balance of riffs to experimentation. I think it's cool when they detour into something a bit more noisy and jagged and more kind of note driven, but they always bring it back to something that hits you like a bag of wet concrete. It's just got that huge kind of heaviness to it. Vocally, this is fucking great. Josh Holt does a fantastic job on this album. It's great having a band that has all that musical goodness and depth, but if you coat it with a very monotone vocal, it kind of just ruins it. It defeats the purpose almost. Luckily for Generation of Vipers, they have a guy that not only has a killer fucking tone, but he knows when to gauge, when to unleash that kind of venomous side, and then when to hold back and deliver something a little bit more composed. So I thought his performance, this was really good. Production on this is absolutely lit, Duncan. It will cause your eardrums to blister. That's how fucking hot this is. It's classic Kurt Ballou and Brad Boatwright savagery. If this production was a drug, it would be Class A, Duncan. It would fuck you up, but you'd be having a good time at the same time.
Why are we talking about drugs so much in this fucking... I don't know. We don't mention it in any other review. We're not experts either.
Yeah, this was really good. I really enjoyed this one, and a definite step up for me from the previous album as well. So finally, scores for this brand new album from Generation of Vipers. What are you scoring at Guilt Shrine, Duncan?
Oh, it's a big old heavy weighty 4.5, Dave. I mean, this music is made for me.
Yeah,
and I can't really go beyond that. They know what they did, Dave. I'm just gonna have to live with it.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is one step away from being a 5 for me. I thought Coffin Wisdom was good, probably set about a 3.5. This jumped up a whole point for me. Personally, I think the songwriting's better, the riffs are bigger, and the production is hench. So it is a 4.5 out of 5 from this guy. That is a review. Check these guys out. Generation of Vipers. The album comes out on August 23rd on Translation Lost Records. Links below the band to the pre-order, all that sort of shit. Check it out, have a listen, see what you think. Let us know in the comments below. That is a review. Thank you for checking out. Much appreciated. We'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.